Told y'all before, and I'll tell y'all again, it does not have to be a new you in the new year. It just needs to be a healthier you, okay? Think it's a game, you guys, okay? I am fighting off everything with TLC products, okay? So y'all make sure that y'all purchase your TLC products from me, link down below. If you're really trying to amp up your healthy journey, then don't forget to check out ifyoucanmove.com and sign up for the online gym with LASHAE. Tell them I sent you. And don't forget about the plethora of products that will aid you and assist you in getting rid of all of that fat, okay? Get you a drip belt. Get you a waist snatcher, all right? Get you some protein shakes. It's all there. TeamLASHAE.com. Check it out. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Not come on in. Not come. Sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'm weird. Whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondy Blue. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondy Blue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video. Right?
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondy Blue and I am back for another This Is Us review, you guys. All right, y'all. Really good episode, okay? So the episode starts off with Jack. Jack wants to take the kids to the cabin for a family vacation. The kids are getting older. They're getting in that teenage, kind of era where they don't want to be around their parents as much, even though they still look like the little kids that used to want to be around you all the time. So yeah, this is hard for Jack, but Rebecca is in this place where I would love a break from them. So why don't you let them go and have a good time with their friends, because they all wanted to go and have sleepovers with their friends. So it's like, let them go and have sleepovers with their friends, and you and I can go to the cabin and have a little, it's a personal time, Jack. Okay? And so once he understood that, then he was like, okay, we're dropping everybody off in the morning. All right? So it's going down. So we fast forward to present day Rebecca, who is trying to get in contact with Kevin and see if he made his flight. Like, she can't get in contact with any of her kids right now, for the most part. Kate, Kevin are both having kids right now, and she's not there. And that's very nerve-wracking for her. They're at the cabin, her and Miguel, and she's looking around at the cabin and reminiscing on, the times when they were kids and they were there for everything. Beth and Randall are still on FaceTime with Madison while she is, going through labor by herself. And they assure her that they are staying on the phone with her no matter what. They get their food from the drive-thru, and they are on FaceTime telling her stories about Kevin and just trying to keep her in a positive headspace, right? So she has to get her epidural, which we all know, like, if you don't know, the epidural is a needle, a large needle that goes into the base of your spine. So it can numb your body from the waist down and keep you awake, but it also is very painful when you first get it, okay? So yeah, it's scary. And then she has the babies inside of her, and Kevin isn't there, and it's just a lot right now, and it's emotional. Your hormones are raging. It's a lot. But Randall starts to tell her about the time that, Kevin got drunk as a teenager, and this was before he became, an actual alcoholic. But he just got drunk as a teenager, and he ends up like, what? I think he ripped all his clothes off and was singing bop, 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 skip it up, do bop, bop. That was the shit back in the day. When I was in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, around that time. Yeah, that was a huge song back then. The Hanson brothers, the Hansons. Yes, I think that's who that was. But either way, this story distracted her. And while they're singing it, and Randall's singing bop on the FaceTime, Kevin comes in. And it was just like, thank God he made it. Because we didn't know if the TSA people was going to let him on. We didn't know. Madison says that she wants to hit and hug Kevin simultaneously. I said, I understand this feeling. I do. And then he tells her that he doesn't want to do any jobs that takes him away from her and the kids. He wants to be there every step of the way, just like his dad was. So if it's a job that's going to take him away for months at a time and all of that type of shit, he's not down for it. And I'm like, okay, we gonna see. I mean, I know at the end of it, he'll be rich. The cabin is going to be huge. Like, everything's going to be fine for Kevin at the end of the day. So we know he'll find his way. But I'm interested to see what that's going to look like for him as an actor. And what's going to happen with the movie, because we didn't even touch on that this episode. Kate is also having a baby right now with the birth mother, Sherry. Sherry is in labor right now, and Toby is in the parking lot tailgating while Kate is upstairs inside with her, because you can only have one person during the pandemic. There's a group text that's going on, but Toby is like, I'm the baby daddy. I can't be in the hospital room. I need private updates about what is going on with you and our baby, all right? So yes, they agree to that. Sherry tells the staff to make sure that once the baby is here, the baby goes right to Kate and not to her, and that Kate is seen as the mother, because the nursing staff kind of slipped up and, called her the mother, and she's like, no, Kate's the mother. I just want to make sure that's clear. Toby, meanwhile, is being asked to move out of his parking spot by an old man who's been parking in the same parking spot every day to come and visit his wife who's sick and who he cannot go upstairs and be with right now, right? And of course, Toby was like, yeah, I'm a move. Once he heard the whole story about how the man is waiting on his wife, Rose, who's up there, and she's, sick, and he can't be with her, and he's coming every day to check in on her and sit in the parking lot, and Toby's like, all right, I'm moving. And I'm just kind of like, really? He couldn't park in the parking spot next to you? That's why, some people are better than me, because sometimes I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Especially as a black person, sometimes you feel like white people will ask you to do things because they feel like you should be willing to accommodate because you're a black person, even if they don't realize that's why they're doing it. Sometimes it's almost like, for my ancestors, no, I'm not. Just for my ancestors today, no, I'm not. Go around, figure it out. But no, I'm not. But like I said, different situation. But Toby moves out of the parking spot, and him and the man talk and chop it up. And the man talks about how amazing his wife is. His wife, Rose. She's this amazing woman, and he loves her so much. And they talk about how, she loves pigs. And Toby talks about how he's waiting on the baby to be officially theirs before he names it, because he actually got to pick the middle name. Since he's not in the hospital room, he gets to pick the middle name, but he hasn't picked it yet because he doesn't know if the baby is really theirs yet. So that's definitely the fear we have with Kate and Toby throughout the episode. He's not only feeling that down here in the parking lot, she's also feeling that up there in the hospital room with Sherry, because when everybody starts to push their babies out, because it happens at the same time, we kind of get a montage of Sherry and Madison both going through labor at the same time. And we see Sherry changing her mind about wanting to hold the baby. She says, I want to hold the baby. And then she asked for a private moment with the baby, which made us a little bit even more worried about what was going to happen. But Sherry actually just wanted to talk to her baby and say that I love you, and me loving you is me letting you go, because I realize that there is something so much better for you than what I can offer you right now. So that's why I'm giving you up, and I want you to know that it's not because I didn't love you, but it's because I love you. And they give the baby to Kate. And Kate, can finally sit down and say, hi, I'm your mom, and I can't wait to see you grow up. And I know the world is crazy right now, but you'll always know who you are and value your space in this world. And that's very important to teach your children, is to value their space in the world. You know what I mean? But I thought it was beautiful because we were scared that Sherry wasn't going to give the baby up. But a lot of the times, kids grow up, being adopted, or situations like this, growing up feeling like their birth parents didn't love them or didn't want them. And that becomes like a broken space inside of them. Even if their adoptive parents love them and want them, and they have the best relationship they can possibly have with them, the idea that the people I come from don't want me is just something that you don't get over because somebody else chose to love you. You know what I'm saying? But the idea that she wanted to stop and tell the baby, even if the baby can't remember it's a baby, but the understanding of being loved either way, I think definitely will aid in what Kate said to the baby, like knowing your place in this world, never having to question your place in this world, knowing that your birth mother loves you enough to give you to some people who could, do better by you. That's a different feeling from feeling like she didn't love me, she didn't want me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that definitely set the precedent for the life that kid is going to have. So Kate tells the baby she's really excited for her to meet her dad. So they FaceTime with Toby, and he says, "Hi, Haley Rose." So he named the baby's the middle name after the man he met in the parking lot who he'd been talking to that whole night. He named it after that man's wife. So let's go back. Okay, we go back to when Jack and Rebecca went to the cabin for their little weekend getaway, right? She found a leak in the cabin, and it ended up destroying some of the kids', terrible middle school art. And she was like, well, we can just throw it out. It's not like it was great or anything. Like, it's our kids' terrible art from middle school, like their hands and shit just in paint. It's nothing. And Jack was bothered by that. So he left, and when he came back, she had strung up all of the art to try to dry it out to save it. And he was like, I'm over it. It's done. But obviously, he's still bothered. She's like, we always rank on our kids. What is the problem? Like, it's what we do. They're teenagers. Like, we love them, but they tire us the hell out. What is the problem? And he says that they're getting closer to that time where they're not going to have them in their lives anymore. They're only a few years away from being adults, and then they'll never really see them again. That's how he feels, because that's how they were with their parents, but their relationships are different. Y'all don't like y'all parents. That's why y'all aren't close to them. Jack's dad was abusive, and his mom allowed it to happen, and she's like one of those women that's a glutton for being in an abusive relationship. So no matter how many times Jack tried to save her, she would keep going back, okay? So your dad's a drunk. Your mom is a glutton for punishment. Nobody wants to deal with that. Of course, you're not going to go back to have Sunday dinner with them all the time. Then you look at Rebecca's family, who didn't even want her to be with Jack because they thought he wasn't good enough. Like, why would you want to be around them? They don't even like your husband like that. So of course not. But they have this close-knit relationship with their kids. So Rebecca is telling him that their relationship with their kids is not going to stop just because they get older. They're always going to be a close-knit family. So then we fast forward to present day. And she's explaining all of this to Miguel. And Miguel kind of goes to comfort her when she says she feels like she's not holding up her end of the deal by not being there for the kids right now. And before he can go to like hug her, she's like, it's okay. I know how hard this has been for you as Jack's friend. You having to grieve him for yourself, but then also be careful of how you grieve him for me, because I was his wife, and the friendship and all of that type of shit. So the relationship is complicated, and she thanks Miguel for being everything he's been to her. And y'all, you gotta love Miguel. You gotta love Miguel, bruh. You really do. I don't care what nobody say. Miguel was a really good friend to Jack when he was alive, and he is a really great husband and, kind of substitute father figure to the grandkids and to, the kids at the end of the day, because they rely on Miguel in one way or another, whether it's to help them look after Rebecca or, in any other capacity, like with the grandkids and stuff like that. So you gotta love Miguel, y'all, even though apparently he can't make a drink. So y'all, Kevin calls Randall, and they talk about the baby names. He's gonna name the twins Nikki and Franny. And Kevin talks about how he just went from pulling a guy from a fiery death to now being a dad. And Randall is like, well, I just went from communing with the spirit of my dead mom to now owning her lake house. We've been through a lot today. Yeah, they got to catch up. There's been a lot. And Kevin, bruh, this moment when Kevin tells Randall that he knows he was an asshole. He even knows that there are things that he didn't see as a kid. Randall being black and having nobody like him around, and how Kevin always made him feel other. Kevin always made him feel other. Even though they're brothers, he made him feel other when he did not have to. And it was because of Kevin's own shit, but he didn't realize that maybe there should have been a little extra sensitivity because Randall was black and everybody else around him is white. You know what I'm saying? But your parents didn't make that an issue because they thought if they ignored it, then they were doing the right thing. But to me, ignoring somebody's ethnicity, ignoring who they are as a person, us being black is very much a part of our experience in this world and in this country. So ignoring it does not help anybody. And that's a lesson people need to learn. And that's a lesson that they should have learned, but they didn't. They basically raised Randall with blinders up to who he was in the world. And they raised their kids to have blinders to who Randall is in the world. So they don't have any sensitivity for him feeling alone as it is. And then you ostracize him on top of that because you mad because you think your daddy love him a little bit more. The mama love him a little bit more. Because that's always been Kevin's issue with Randall, is that he felt like Randall was the favorite. And it's like, you're not even biologically there. So why are you the favorite? Like, you can tell that's what Kevin felt. So now understanding probably why the parents, they didn't recognize him being black, but I think he was an easier child to get along with. And I think they wanted to just make sure that he felt he was one of the three instead of feeling like an outsider. They wanted to make sure he didn't feel like that. And that was the one good thing that they really did do, as far as I'm concerned, is make sure that even though they were ignoring Randall's blackness, they were not ignoring the fact that Randall was outside of the biological kid. So they wanted to make sure he did not feel that. And I appreciate that. But with all of that being said, Kevin says, when I came into the hospital room and heard your voice, he said, I can't even explain, Randall. You know what I'm saying? And when you put that in perspective, like, he's like, you're my brother. You know what I'm saying? But it also reminds me of how black people just always show up. Randall is like the perfect example of how black people always have to show up and be the moral compass, while at the same time being neglected and abused. Like, it's you know, I'm people may not want to look at it like that, but overall, that is exactly what has taken place. And that's what it feels like emotionally. And so watching Randall be the support system, even when he's been ignored in this way, you know, it is just, a part of it is heartbreaking, a part of it is beautiful, a part of it is exhausting. Because it feels like that's always what we're doing. And it's like, when are people going to show up for us? Even the fact that Kate and Kevin get to have the new big three, and Randall has no real part in that. I don't even know how I could review this and not talk about how that made me feel when she was like, oh, it's the new big three. And it's Kevin's two twins, and it's her now, her new baby. And it's like, but where does Randall fit into the new big three when he's the support system to the old one? You know what I'm saying? Is it just me that felt that, like, as I was watching this? Kevin says he does want to have a conversation about the racial shit. And Randall, once again, like he said, being A1 all the time, is like, we'll talk about that, but not today. It's about your kids today. You know, like, still being able to say, I know there's something we need to talk about for you and for me, but right now it's about you and your kids, so that's what we're going to focus on. Still being so unselfish in the situation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all. So throughout the episode, we got to see a family that we weren't familiar with. Okay. It was I want to say Indian man. I'm not sure, but a brown man. Okay. Very, very smart, obviously. Kind of falls in love with this woman named S. I think that was her name. And they're from two different cultures, I believe. She seems to be like more like European or something like that. And, you know, he seems to be more like Indian, Middle Eastern, something like that. I don't want to say the wrong thing, you know, because I couldn't exactly tell. But he was like a technology person. Like, he's into technology. I don't know what to say scientist, but that kind of, to me, sometimes that's what that seems like you're still a scientist. But he's trying to figure out some type of scientific method, you know, method with the video and all of that, to create the online video chatting situation. Like, he had to explain it to his wife because, you know, he gets with this woman, they fall in love, they have a kid, the kid is 4 years old, and he can't seem to find time to make it home and have dinner with his wife and his kid. And she's like, I need to understand why you're not here and what's more important than us. What are you trying to accomplish? And he starts to explain it, but he explains it in his, you know, techie jargon. And she's like, no, dumb it down for me like you talking to our 4-year-old. And he says, well, you know how we have to mail your mom a picture of the baby because she lives all the way across the world? Well, the military has created a network of computers, and eventually common folk will all have these computers and they'll be connected. So I'm trying to create the technology for the picture that we send to her on the computer, your mom will be able to see. I put a picture on the computer and your mom across the world will be able to see it simultaneously versus the weeks it takes for her to get something in the mail. It was the beginning of them figuring out email, the beginning of them figuring out video chat, FaceTime, all of that. This man, Nasir Ahmad, I think that, Ahmed, Nasir Ahmed is his name. I am so grateful to Nasir Ahmed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He is still alive. They actually showed him and his wife, at the end of the episode. But I thank them so much for their sacrifice and for their contribution to the world, because not only does this make it possible for me to make a living, okay, so thank you for that, but also the fact that everybody is able to see each other, even at a time where it is unsafe for us to be together, being able to video chat, being able to have Zoom calls with your friends and your family members, or how we've been able to now transition to doing classes in Zoom, like that science, that man making that sacrifice and his family to dedicate his life in a way to his work is what now makes it possible for all of us to not go crazy during a pandemic. Thank you, Nasir Ahmed and your family. Thank you. So yeah, y'all, that was This Is Us. The episode was really, 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 really good, y'all. Okay, at the end of the episode, we see everybody video and FaceTiming with one another so they can see the babies and all of that. So it was beautiful. And I always love when I can draw a moment in history directly to my life. Like, I love that. I told y'all, if y'all watch some of my other videos, like how Rapper's Delight, somebody deciding to do the first rap song ever, basically affected my life to the point that I don't think I would be doing this if it wasn't for hip hop. Like the reality shows and all of that, most of them were centered around artists and Black artists. And, just like I can think, Wendy. Nobody was talking about Black gossip really like that before Wendy Williams. You know what I'm saying? So I love the fact that I can draw my life back to people living in their truth and walking in their paths and living their lives, affecting mine in such a grave way that otherwise I would not be doing what I'm doing right now. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy to me. But I love being able to see that, because it always reminds me that there's a reason for everything. For everything. And that's what I love about This Is Us. Okay? So yeah, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the review. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one.